Folks, you know what time is it, right? You do know what time is it. It is 10 o'clock p.m. And this is the beginning of the midnight run. And once again, it's that VINCE GOOD Rum. How y'all folks doing tonight? You chilling like a villain? Getting ready for the weekend, folks. Oh yeah, we gotta have the jazz there, Michael. That's the way we do it. Gotta make sure everyone's nice and relaxed. You can't play no heavy metal or anything like that. That's only for the gym. No, on the midnight run, we gotta play something nice and smooth. But before we begin the festivities, folks, we have lost two great men, so we will give a moment of silence for both of them. First off, we lost Jim Brown. You know, one of the greatest running backs of all time. Movie actor, he did it all. You know, first movie he did with Telly Savalas. You know, movie was so good, he decided not to go back to football. But again, he was still one of the greatest running backs of all time. So we're going to give a moment of silence for Jim Brown. And, of course, as some of you people know, superstar Billy Graham also passed away. Now, as far as superstar Billy Graham is concerned, he is the original Hulk Hogan, the original sports entertainer. People got into bodybuilding because of superstar Billy Graham. I love superstar Billy Graham. I love watching him on TV, you know, back in the day. Now, some of y'all may not have grown up with superstar. I did, and I'm very privileged too. So, folks, we're going to give 1 minute of silence. Get your head down for Jim Brown and superstar Billy Graham. All right, folks, that is 1 minute for the great Jim Brown and superstar Billy Graham. I can't believe we lost both of them in the same week. Can't believe it, folks. So, folks, what are y'all drinking and smoking tonight there? I got, of course, a nice Nicaraguan cigar. We got the Richard Overton Special, whiskey stiffened coffee, and, of course, I got my Walda. What are you drinking and smoking, folks? Did Jay Masters pass away? Not that I know of. Nobody ain't told me that. Yeah, I'm awake, Joel. What's up? We was giving a moment of silence for the superstar Billy Graham and Jim Brown there, Joel. That may be before your time, Joel, but that's cool. I already knew you had weed there, Joel. Lukewarm water? Okay. You on the job right now? See, that's what you get when you miss the front of the show. We were given a moment of silence, folks, for superstar Billy Graham and Jim Brown. Two outstanding athletes and consummate gentlemen, you know. And folks, Jim Brown got a lot of backlash in his latest years because he supported Donald Trump. But that's the thing about Jim Brown. He was his own man, you know, and he didn't care about trying to follow the crowd. He followed his own path, you know. That's the same with superstar Billy Graham. These men followed their own path. You know what kind of flack Jim Brown got for supporting Trump? But he stood his ground like a man, not like a biatch. Is it possible to do a quick call perhaps tomorrow?
Glad to be here another Soulful Friday night. How was your day? Glad to be here another Soulful Friday night.
Andrew A. with a $9.99 donation. My day was kind of rough. I had to do a rebranding of a website, and then I've been still getting screamed at all week about the grocery site. Things are getting back to normal, but we got to get things caught up. But we just hanging in there. That's why at the end of the day, I always have a nice cigar, you know, even a little one. Of course, tonight is our midnight run, so we got our regular cigar. But again, thanks for the donation. Is it possible to do a quick call tomorrow to discuss the possibility of doing a deal? No, Chad. We don't do deals by phone. You have to go by Flippa. The reserve has already been met, so the only way you can get the site is if you bid on it. But we're not going to discuss any real business today, folks. This is the midnight run. We're here to hang out, you know. That's all we got to do. We just going to hang out. Yeah, Jim Brown definitely was no cookie cutter, you know. For a black man to support Trump there, you know what kind of flack. You know what he said to everybody else? Same thing I said to ask yourself. Kiss my ass, motherfucker. That's what Jim Brown said to all the black folks who opposed him. Black Lives Matter told him to kiss his ass. That's right. Jim Brown told them to kiss his ass. That's a man right there who sticks to his own, sticks to his guns. That's the way you should live in life, you know. So y'all give it up for Jim Brown once again. And superstar Billy Graham, you know. 2 athletes in 1 week. Man, it's messed up. Smoking some Pall Mall and drinking the world's finest Stein. All right. You got a cigar, really, too. Yep. Drinking a cigar. I love Fleet. No, I didn't say I love Felice Johnson. I think he's hilarious. I would have hated to have been a prison guard at the time he was around. I mean, not because I couldn't beat him up or anything. He was a little chicken bone, but, you know, I'd have to clean up the mess that he made, if you know what I mean, if you get what I'm saying. Yeah, Andrew, his nicotine habit is just BS. I mean, complete BS. He's just lying to himself. He's taken more than 3 tablets here. Well, the nicotine tablets are expensive, you know, as opposed to a cigar or something. May as well not take anything at all. And because he's taking a straight chemical, in about a month or 2, it's not even going to work at all. He's going to try to take more pills. It's just a temporary relief. He's not going to be able to hang with that. It's not upsetting at all here. Chad, we're not going to discuss the site there. If you want to buy it, you got to go to Flippa. But let's get the cigar up and lit here. Mm-hmm. That is a good cigar, I tell you what. Let me move around my windows a bit. There we go. Hey, Andrew, that's one of my most common things at nighttime. You know, I'll have some tea and one of those little tiny cigarillos, and that's it. That's my typical night, folks. Chad, business is business. I can clone and duplicate that site in minutes. Chad, I'm not sure if you're trolling or not. It doesn't make a difference. It is flippa.com. You can look up the site if you wish. But we're here to hang out and chill and relax, answer questions. Not here to talk business, folks. I like sitting outside by the pool there, Andrew. I mean, I will get into the pool and swim a little bit if it's really hot outside, but I just prefer just laying out, reading a good book or something. That's just me. Oh, a lot of people like swimming. I mean, I will swim also if I need to get some cardio work in. I hear what you're saying there, Chad, but I'm not going to answer any other questions about the site there. As far as these cigars are concerned, I bought them in bulk. This comes out to about $1.75. I am looking at chat, Joel. Did I miss something? I don't think I've missed any questions. Nope. No questions missed. I mean, you missed the first section when we were giving a moment of silence for Jim Brown and the superstar Billy Graham. Oh, I've had Long Islands and back in the day with friends, but that's kind of old school now. That's almost as old as a Tom Collins. What's the most I've ever paid for a cigar? About $50. If I'm in Asheville and I go to their cigar lounge, I'll get a Davidoff number 2, and that one runs about $33. Well, Chad, we already know the answer to that. You know, we heard the audio, and it's pretty clear that he ate it. What are you trying to post, Joel? I'm not blocking anything. You sent something to me on Instagram? I'll check and see. My Instagram's been acting up kind of funny lately. I'm sorry, I don't have any messages in. I just have a bunch of spam. Rate my role. What name is yours under there, Joel? Well, Chad, what I was meaning by that is that a Long Island iced tea is no longer cool. That should have been left back in the 90s. Same as Goldschlagers and stuff, you know, for shots. Doesn't matter. You'll need to be more specific. I went on Instagram. I didn't see any messages you sent me. I thought it was hilarious. I'm actually going to do a video about that tomorrow, probably, Andrew. But what did you expect? Rings of Redemption, all he does is sit on a computer, and the only thing someone had to do is get up out of their chair in order to and actually walk around. Whoever walked around technically got exercise, and whoever got exercise would win. Yes, Justin, we did a moment of silence. Rate your joint. What type are you? Well, how can I rate your joint there, Joel? I'm not an expert at joints. Are you referring to the look of it or what? I mean, I'm looking at both folders. I don't have anything. Nope. I got nothing. Nothing. Nothing at all. Nope. Rate his joint? Justin, Joel, I don't know what you guys are talking about. I didn't see EDP because, I don't keep up with the pervert. It'd be impossible for him to make a comeback. Are you like sending pictures or something? It may take a while for me to see that. Well, with a name like that, Joe, it probably went into a spam folder. Why are you using that name anyway? I mean, I would have to know what you sent it as in order for me to locate it. I mean, I saw an alert that went into a spam folder, but yeah, it's gone now, whatever it was. There's an alert and it said it threw it out. Or at least that's what Instagram said. It marked it as spam and it's not even in my box. No, it came through Truth One. It got sent to spam. Instagram went and deleted it. I did see that name pop up on the Instagram, and then it was disappeared. I don't think Meghan and Harry are going to be headed for divorce. I mean, but never say never. What's up, Thick Cut? Now, someone from last week actually tried to send me a virus, but on here, that's actually the first person I've actually banned, actually. So, folks, there's actually been someone I've actually banned from on the post. Do not send viruses, folks. That's not good mints. That's being an asshole. I'm sure it does there, Joel. How much cardio? About 3 hours a day. An hour in the morning, hour at night, and then an hour at 3 a.m. in the morning. But don't read into it too much. It's really slow walking while I'm reading or watching TV, so I don't even really think about it, Andrew. But I was a big cardio freak at my last event. And I would do my cardio first, Truth One, before I did my weightlifting. Because I knew that if I did my weightlifting first, then I would be too lazy to do my cardio. My gym membership is $70, and that's only because I pay an extra $10 for a locker. Mine's going to be the most expensive gym membership that you can possibly get in Greenville. Your average membership at like Coops, for example, is like $20 a month. But it's pretty cheap. I mean, the most expensive, $70 here. But if I went up to New York, even a cheap gym would be at least $100. It healed up a bunch of injuries, Thick Cut, but it didn't reduce my pain level, or anything. I have very little pain, actually, Thick Cut. It's just my bones ache sometimes whenever the weather changes. If the weather changes, then everything on my body hurts. But I think we're finally past this cold weather. I know Mark Lobliner and someone else I forgot said that cardio doesn't matter before or after. Yeah, Mark is actually right. Right on the money on that. People have different mechanisms, and you got to remember I was competing drug-free, Andrew. Mark was taking anabolic steroids and as well as growth hormone. When you're taking growth hormone, that's just going to lean you out no matter what. You don't need to do any cardio. And Mark actually did a lot of high-intensity training anyway for the cardio effect. So I didn't have that advantage on hand. Oh, absolutely. There's plenty of strength loss there, Truth One. But the goal is not to... the goal in competing in a show is not to be the strongest person. It's to actually get down and lean and get on stage. If I was doing a powerlifting meet, then I wouldn't do any cardio at all. What strong cocktail can replace the Long Island today? That's a good question. Maybe a giant Mai Tai or so. Vegan Gains. Hope you're doing well, cousin. How can you justify criticizing me for taking nicotine tablets, yet recommend that I drink and smoke? Smoking is a lot more relaxing than a nicotine tablet. You have to understand it's not just the nicotine that's in a cigar, Richard. It's the aroma that's coming from the cigar. The smoke filling the air, the comfort, the relaxation. And of course the alcohol, I'm not slugging it down or anything like that. I'm drinking in moderation. You see, when you take a nicotine tablet, Richard, that's a synthetic product as opposed to something natural. So you're gonna end up that stuff is only going to work for about a month or so. You're getting the nicotine, but you're not getting the enjoyment factor out of the tobacco. But I'm free to criticize you. After all, I mean, it's a free country. You're aware of our laws here in the United States, aren't you, Richard? But excellent question. I have a lot of sports injuries. I think everyone has a lot. As long as you're getting them taken care of, don't overdo it on Advil. You don't want to. That's one thing that Tom Prince taught me. Lee Priest took the good. Me and Lee Priest need to kiss and make up, actually. Lee Priest ate a lot of fast food even when he was getting down. He was eating, he ate a ton of KFC. He loved that Kentucky Fried Chicken. You can go ask him. I try to maintain strength when dieting down. Well, it depends on truth one. Or if you're going to be competing, then don't worry about your strength. You'll get that back once you're putting back on the weight. If you're training to compete, get off the fat, Don't worry about your strength. It has nothing to do with his vegan diet. My good friend Tori Washington, he's on a vegan diet and he looks awesome. He does well in shows, models and everything. A vegan diet has nothing to do with it whatsoever. It's his establishment and his way of life. If I'm getting good results from tablets, how can you recommend I do something more harmful? Well, Richard, I want you to ask a question here, okay? Now, maybe one day I can get cancer from this cigar. It's always possible. You have to weigh and balance your risk out, Richard. You have to balance things out. And for someone who talks so much about being afraid of death and not being afraid of death, are you afraid of dying there, Richard? If you are, I got bad news for you. Everyone's going to die one day. Richard, we're not debating tonight. The last time we debated, you brought two of your friends with you. So until you learn how to debate by yourself, one-on-one, we'll hold off on some debates. Not only that, I'm in a nice, relaxed mood. I've had a tough day, so maybe in about a week or two. But you got to start learning how to debate one-on-one. You don't bring those idiots again. Especially ask yourself. That dude's a straight moron up there asking me to beg to apologize. If you see him again, tell him to kiss my ass, Do I listen to the Village People while doing cardio? No! I don't listen to the Village People at all. That's before my generation. Andrew, I've always enjoyed debating with Richard up until the very last debate. Whenever you debate, it's a one-on-one match. It's not 3-on-1. I didn't even have a chance to bring in my people. I could have brought Palumbo in, Mr. G, or my friend Joe Beans, or Greg Valentino. I didn't get that opportunity. I also didn't even know those people were even going to come up there. They just caught me off by surprise, But, you catch me off surprise, you're going to get slapped across the face with the John Holmes while I'm sipping my whiskey. Warfare. I told you, it has nothing to do with it has nothing to do with his vegan diet whatsoever. It's his way of life and what he's pretty much eating as well, That and all of it's in his head, You gotta, sometimes he also needs to toughen up a little bit. He needs to toughen up, Be a man, not a bitch, That's the thing about life, life is not rainbows and lollipops here, You guys have seen Rocky 5, haven't you? Life is going to knock you down, but you got to hit just as hard back, folks. You got to hit just as hard back. And until Richard gets that mindset to toughen up there, and stuff, he's wanting to get in all these MMA matches in the cage and everything. He has a fight going on in his head. It's just all in his head, He's not depressed. He just thinks that way. He needs to change his mindset, Once he changes his mindset and his way of living, he's going to be perfectly fine. But all this suicidal stuff, it's fake. It's just in his head, And once he starts toughening up there, you got to put mind over matter, Well, at least it was a fight, Psycho. I think Jay Masters needs to work on his boxing. Yeah, I remember those Persian, the vegans lady. That was a long time ago. But Richard, I'm not trying to be nasty to you or anything like that. I mean, you're family. You're my cousin and everything. I'm just looking out for you. You just got to get out of that mindset, That suicide stuff, it's just in your head. It's nothing, Toughen up, That's what my mama would tell you. Whenever I come to Canada and stuff, maybe if I come with my mom, you could speak with, and she'd tell you to toughen up a little bit, I'm a Goodrum. Goodrums don't bitch, We hit home runs like my cousin Nico. Not only that, you got to get away from, you got to take at least a week or two off from streaming anything, Go on vacation. If you don't want to go on a cruise, go on a road trip or something. Don't film anything, Dave Palumbo is one of the smartest people in bodybuilding. I mean, he's helped me out over the years a bunch, I mean, there's very rare times where we were on opposing ends. I've always had a great deal of respect for Dave. I'm very glad to have known him for over 20 some years, And anytime I ask him anything and ask for his advice, he'll message me back in like a couple of hours or so. So he's a consummate gentleman, Well, you got to do more than hit the gym there, Psycho. You have to change your way of life. You have to change your way of thinking. You got to be like Andrew Tate sometimes. This is one thing that I like about Andrew Tate. He's right about mindset, Set your mind to things. Get that suicide stuff out. It's not even in his head. He just thinks about it because he doesn't have that willpower in order just to get it out, Got to toughen up, It's like when I'm working out, you know. I mean, in the Army, you know, they say pain is a sign of weakness leaving the body, you know. Pain is a sign of weakness leaving the body. Remember that, folks. That's all pain is. Pain don't hurt, you know. Pain doesn't hurt at all. Unless you think that way. I mean, my bones ache and everything like that, and I'm in pain, but you don't, you know, the reason being is, you know, I know it's there, but I use my mind to kick it out, you know. That's called a strong mindset. Did I keep in touch? Yeah, I kept in touch with them there, Chad. Some of them I already knew, at least one or two, but I never really hollered at them or anything. The other ones, yeah, I keep in touch with them. Chad, go get one. But folks, what do y'all honestly think? You think I'm right? You know, you got to have that. I mean, in this case, you got to have that Andrew Tate mindset. You got to have that Rocky Balboa mindset. You got to have the Vince Goodrum mindset, you know. You got to have that Randy Couture mindset. You got to have the Chuck Liddell mindset. Remember, folks, pain don't hurt. Pain is a sign of weakness leaving the body. All right? Period. Sometimes you just got to toughen up. And then when you really break something, then go to a doctor. Pain that may not hurt, but if you're in bad, really, really bad shape to where pain just starts tingling a little bit, you better go to a doctor. There is no comfort zone, Andrew. It's going to get worse for Richard as he gets older. You know, all that shit lifting that he's been doing. I mean, he's gonna be in a ton of, you know, he's gonna be in a world of shit. But don't mind me, I'm just taking my natural nicotine pill. I wonder where Pugman's at. I hadn't seen him. Wherever he is, I hope he's doing all right. Well, Thick Cut, I'm not saying that people don't have mental issues or anything like that. I just don't think Richard's mental issues are as bad as he thinks it is, you know. Now, I will acknowledge that he obviously has some mental issues, but, you know, he over-exaggerates it, and I think it's just so people will feel sorry for him and donate, you know. In any event, anyone with mental, no matter what, maybe you need to go on some lamotrigine or something like that, but at the end of the day, you got to toughen up too, you know, on top of that. That's the problem, the pussification of America, you know. Liberals can't even make their own coffee at home. They got to go to a Starbucks. Then they complain about how Starbucks is treating them. Meantime, they're paying $5, you know. Man, fuck Starbucks. They charge freaking $5 for a cup of coffee. And then they got the nerve to have a tip cup for that coffee. Shit. I will go down to the Waffle House. I will get the All-Star Breakfast for $6.29. I take an oath to mother. I will get the All-Star Breakfast $6.29. They'll throw in a little coffee. Shot of OJ, you know. I bees alright. You know, if I'm going to spend that much money, I want breakfast, you know. I want a waffle, eggs, bacon, you know, sausage. They even have vegan options. I'll be damned if I pay $5 for a cup of coffee. Just keeping it real and telling it to you like it is, you know. Now, if I'm out and about, I will go to a coffee shop if I needs to. But you got people that are going and having coffee every day. They spend $5. They leave a $2 tip. That's $7. Over a course of 30 days, that's $210. That's going right out of your pocket just for something that you can make at home for 5 cents. That's how much this coffee is, 5 cents. What is 5 times 30, people? That's $1.50. $1.50. As opposed to $210. Which one would you take? Well, that's a medical issue, Thick Cut. You're going to have aches and pains when you get older. But if you have if you have an actual injury, then you need to take care of that, You'll know the difference between, people will know the difference between your normal aches and pains and when you actually just fuck up some shit, But even when I do that, I don't go on the internet or anything. I go to the doctor, and tell him to say, hey, doc, this arm ain't feeling all right, Hey, Pug Man, how's it going there? I got water here. I got water, Pug Man. I'm having a lot less caffeine, too. I drink lots of water a day. That's why I have that water dispenser, Pug Man. I drink water most of the day, practically. I don't drink anything else. I just usually drink either water, coffee, or tea. It's important to keep hydrated. It keeps it keeps your skin nice and taut, and stuff. That's a good thing about water. It also cleans out your pores. But glad to see you, brother. Yeah, I was getting a little outrageous with the coffee, but, these are habits that I picked up when I was working at Verizon, where I would just slug down coffee and eat bad food and stuff, going out with, things. Now that I'm not working in that type of hostile environment, things have cut down a whole bunch. Beer. They're mad at Coors Light now. And, that's a shame because Kid Rock just signed a $4 million contract with Miller. Miller is owned by Molson Coors. So they're even calling him a faggot, now. Ironically. You shouldn't use that type of word. It's very ugly. But yeah, folks, it's important to get your water in, Drink plenty of liquids a day, And I'm not talking about soda neither. I wouldn't say that, Andrew. He's a multi-millionaire, so he has to know something. He's a good music artist, And he took advantage of a situation in order to get himself $4 million. So he has a $4 million contract with Miller Lite, and all he has to do is keep doing the very same thing that he has been doing. You know what I mean? He's literally getting $4 million to do the same thing that he's already doing, which is play music. So Kid Rock's a lot smarter than people think. He looks homeless sometimes, but, Well, Andrew, he's gotten a lot older. And generally, when you get older, you get more into politics, you get more into wanting to change the world. You get more into opinions and stuff. You know, whenever I was in my 20s, I never watched the news. Nowadays, I do watch the news practically every day. And I keep up with politics and stuff, so yeah. That's just him getting old. What tastes better, Orange Crush? I never liked Fanta. I always had Orange Crush if I had to choose. Century Sam. No, I wouldn't date Kid Rock. He's not a flambe anyway, so. Well, Thick Cut, I don't drink beer. Now, if I have a beer, I go down to the Thomas Creek Brewery. I'll get a half pint, and then I'll go outside and I'll smoke a cigar. I mean, it's literally 2 minutes away from me. I have a brewery 2 minutes away from me. But beer is American, you know. Beer is American. It's an American tradition. Jack Daniels is an American tradition. We should not give up drinking things that makes us Americans, Thick Cut. And beer, nothing is more American than beer. The thing about it is that we just got to get over things. I mean, they gave her a case of beer, and then next thing you know, Bud Light loses $5 billion. Psycho, I'm 5'11", and I showed that picture on my Instagram. I mean, I'm not over 6 feet tall. And I've never been 300 pounds. I've gotten close to it, but I'm nowhere near that. I'm probably like 230, 240. I'm hovering around there, but I'm losing more fat and I'm building muscle. So it's sort of like it's evening out. The fat's turning into muscle would be the best way I would describe it. My face is also leaning out as well. The rapper I went to school with was one of the smartest in class. Well, anyone that has a musical talent has to have some level of intellect, you know. It takes a lot of knowledge to be creative, you know. What about drinking out of the ocean? You can't. It's too much salt in it. It would be quite poisonous, in fact. You would get too much salt in the body. You can actually end up having a stroke. That's why if someone is floating out to sea, they don't drink the water. You drink ocean water, it'll just make you even more thirsty. I got shots now, Thick Cut. No, strokes aren't American. A stroke is a stroke. I've never had sea urchin before. Won't be buying much by the end of the week. Because I had to sell those websites, I have to put a high upfront cost, NDAs and stuff, so that's been running a couple of $100. So we's a little bit behind on the bills, sort of. I always want to have my bills to the point to where I'm putting away about $500 a month at least in savings. And I'm a little bit behind the 8 ball by about maybe 200 or 300, so got to get caught up to make sure I'm still adding money to my savings. That is true, Thick Cut, because there's less sodium in your pee-pee. But never drink out of the ocean. What is my profession? Customer service, consumer relations, and I'm also a pretty decent web designer. But right now, my official position is I am the de facto president of the Goodrum group. We are the Goodrum group, and we are homosexuals. But truthfully, if you wanted to put everything summarized as far as my profession, I am an entrepreneur. We have sales too, so. Nothing wrong with that, you know. It's always good to have a bunch of irons in the fire. Where will I be at in 5 years? I'll be on AARP for starters in 3 years. I was never a weightlifter. I've always been a bodybuilder. And that might have actually helped me because, you know, I know a lot of power lifters that no longer power lift. They're always hunched down. But no, my purpose of lifting was always for competition purposes. It was never to try to lift the most weight. Although at my peak, I did lift a lot of weight, but not to the point to where I was trying to get PR records or anything. But Big Lenny Big Lenny won a lot of competitions there. I think Jay Masters did too, as powerlifters. Did I ever fight with? I've actually never met any of them in person. I've always just chatted with them. I'll eventually meet them, you know, once I go down to Florida, because I've been meaning to go down and visit Aaron Singerman, see how he was doing, you know, and stuff. And stuff. Make sure he's okay and stuff. I mean, sure he's okay, but, you know, I've been meaning to do that. What's the most physical job I ever had? Detention center. Hands down. Working in the detention center in corrections, that's the most physical. Have to do extractions and stuff 2 or 3 times a day. Inmates fighting, breaking up fights. That's a hard grind. Then an occasional hit to the face or to the chest or to the stomach. I've only been shanked like twice, so I guess I'm doing pretty good. I hate getting hit in the face, but I really hate getting stabbed with The guy actually took a bed spring out of his bed. He got it to a point and then just went right at me. That hurt like a mug. And then another person, what they do, they took another part. They seem to, that's the thing there. They seem to take parts from beds and stuff, and they went and slashed me with it. That also hurt too. That didn't hurt as much as the bed spring. That was more like a very heavy paper cut, almost. but it bled a lot. So, but that's okay. How gay was jail? I never seen anyone take it up the ass in jail, but I knew there was sex in jail because I could hear them. But whenever I walk up to the door, they pretty much quit. But I never interfered or anything like that. Why go and report stuff like that? That's minor, you know. If all they're doing is taking it up the ass and pounding each other, you know, why do I care? I mean, I'm gay after all. You know, two other guys up there screwing and everything like that, big deal. I had bigger problems to deal with. The only thing I really want to deal with is fights and people trying to commit suicide. And I'm not talking the vegan gains. I'm talking about the real stuff, the real suicide. People literally jumping off the balconies and stuff and off the bulkheads. Yeah, Nuggets are doing, looking at it. I haven't checked if you go to cybergamesonline.com, the odds should be coming up pretty soon. I have a lot of scars, Quick Pump, not just from the detention center, but from doing security work. And no, none of y'all can ever see it. I'm never going to show those injuries I have. Andre, if two men are screwing in a cell, then they're not bothering anyone. Unless they say they're being raped, and none of them ever said that they were being raped, so why do I care? I mean, some officers, they did a pull out and stuff like that. Pull out. What I meant is an extraction and then separated them. Me, I just didn't, you know, I didn't care. Sometimes you get into certain officers do different things. Me, no need to fool with that. No need to write a report. I mean, I have to write a report. You know, I went and checked the cell and there was a dude taking it up the ass, you know. So I separated them, like, hey, make sure you wipe your ass and stuff. You know, that's another thing. If I had to do a cell extraction, I get doo-doo on my hands and stuff, you know. You know, cells are kind of unhygienic and everything. Shut up, Andrew. Yep. They can be quite dangerous. Fortunately, he was just aiming he just wanted to give me a love tap on the belly. So, scars are on my belly. I mean, I'm supposed to break that stuff up and separate people. But Greenville County was overcrowded, you know. We had, you know, the cells held 100 people and we had 140 people. Where am I going to move them at, you know? Where am I going to move them at? Nowhere. What am I going to do? I mean, it's ridiculous. And then there's certain inmates that actually function together better. There was two guys, you know, they were basically cat burglars and stuff. They never screwed but I always kept them together because, you know, they were old buddies and stuff like that. You know, it's better to keep friends in jail in the same pods with each other and stuff because it's a good way to keep their sanity. So if I find that they're friends and pals and everything, then yeah, I'll pair them up there. I'll let them stay in the same cell because that's one less problem I have to deal with, you know. What's up, Lamar? Hey, Lamar, I was going to send you a message. Don't make your videos all say, ask me anything. What you want to do is you want to put ask me anything, but you need to put in your title the game that you're actually playing. Because all of your titles on your video says ask me anything. You need to also go back through all your videos, Lamar, and put down the exact video game that you're playing. Worked at Greenville County Detention Center on occasion, Tiger River, you know. But Greenville County Detention Center, You know, we actually had someone made some T-shirts one time. They were kind of funny. That's why I always tell people when I have newbies that came into jail or, you know, or so forth, I tell them to keep their mouth shut and keep your head down, you know. Don't gamble or anything like that, you know. Don't ask what someone, never, if you're in jail or so forth and someone asks you what you're in for, don't go and tell them that, you know. Don't tell them what you're in here for. Never do that. And don't ask anyone what they're in for. Boiling Broke never heard of that one. So, I mean, but there's a whole bunch of penitentiaries all around. Good deal, Lamar. But you're doing good on your channel there, Lamar. Just put the description as far as to what game you're playing. I mean, the thing about it is the reason why I worked there is because I needed a job that paid some decent coin, you know. And they were offering $10.91 an hour, you know. And at that time, which was 20 some years ago, that was good money, you know. No, there won't be a 4-hour stream because I'm streaming from my phone. So the battery life wouldn't hold up. But that equipment's coming in soon, so we'll be back on the computer. And that'll be a good thing. Psycho Pugman doesn't have to donate one dime ever again. He is taking good care of me. He's taking good care of all of you guys. So thank Pugman, all right? Now, if you guys want to donate, fine. Pugman, like I said before, he never has to put in one single dollar anymore if he doesn't want to. I'm always going to be appreciative of everything he's done. And I definitely appreciate you guys just as well for always coming to my shows and stuff and my live streams. So, like I said, without the piss, I have no pot. Yes, you do too, Andrew. I definitely thank you for your donations. But that's the thing about live streams. Like I said, I hate drinking and smoking alone. You should never drink alone. You really should never smoke alone or anything. You should always have someone. If I'm going to smoke I'm going to go to that's why I go to a cigar lounge for, you know. That way I could sit and talk. We talk politics and stuff, you know. You have to be out and about. You got to be talking to people. Now, Richard, he goes outside, but, you know, does he hang out with friends? I mean, I've seen him hang out with Ask Yourself, but that's on a rare occasion. He needs to conjugate, and I'm not talking about just talking online on the internet, but just having actual interactions and stuff, you know. That would also help out with his suicidal tendencies, if he has them, you know. I think they're exaggerated. Currently, Andrew, I'm not taking any protein powders at the moment. And I'm only having 3 meals a day. Well, actually, technically 4 because I always have a cup of yogurt. I got pulled today, pushed. Okay. Well, get it in. Quick Pump with a $2 donation. Definitely appreciate that. It's sort of like, you ever seen the movie Break Into Electric Boogaloo? Just give, just give, just give for miracles to live.
But these last $2.
Just give, just give. A quarter, a penny, a nickel, a dime. Everybody in the house say give, say give, say give for miracles to live. Yep, Greek yogurt. Worco's Greek yogurt. 000. I get it at Sam's Club. Get 18 at a time. Get a good deal on it. In the morning, it's oatmeal. Lunch, fish and asparagus, either tilapia. Dinner, chicken and asparagus. Sometimes I'll have a potato or so, a baked potato. But if I have a baked potato or anything, it's going to be in the afternoon. I don't eat carbs after 6 p.m. But I have a pretty light diet at this point in time. But that's what's me. I mean, surprisingly enough, folks, I've always been a low-calorie person. And part of the reason being is because my metabolism is very slow at this point. I used to have a very high metabolism, but it dropped down a whole bunch when I was in my 30s, so it's not necessary for me to go and eat a bunch of food. Well, on Sundays, Warfare, I don't eat all day. And then I'll have a large meal for dinner, either soup and bread, or I'll even have a pizza. That's what I did last week. Last Sunday, I didn't have anything all day, and then I had the pizza for dinner. And usually I'll do something like that on Sunday to where I'll just have water and, and stuff. Very little food until dinner time. That's what Herschel Walker does. Herschel Walker only eats one meal a day. And he does like 2,500 push-ups and sit-ups. What do I do for training back? Pull-ups and underhand pull-ups. A pull-up is one of the best exercises you can do for the back. It works out everything. That's why you do it in the Army for. Oh, I did get my new cigars in. I got some Oliva Seconds. I got Mark Twain Rough Drafts. And then I got 5 Gilberto Oliva cigars. I don't know what a muscle up is, Andrew. You'll have to describe that. Oh, Book of Dark just dropped by. Break Into Electric Boogaloo. Yeah, that was a great movie. Watched it on TV. Like I said, again, it was made back in like 1980 or something. 82 or something like that. Never saw it in the movies. That's the thing about a kid. As a kid, you think movies are for real and everything like that, and it makes you wonder: are they going to be able to raise enough money to save miracles and stuff? I miss the magic of movies, and nowadays I always have that assumption that, well, they'll figure out a way to solve it. The workout that Kali Muscle made famous, you can only see that on Pornhub. Kali Muscle may have a lot of money, but he'll never outlive that. Fortunately, not him and Nick Trigili, you know. But they made the decisions. Yes, but those are camera tricks, Quick Pump. But yeah, that was the movie. Yeah, breakdancing was a pretty big thing. I did breakdancing too when I was growing up. I mean, everyone did breakdancing back then. No, I was able to do spins. I did the, you know, and stuff. Did the centipede. Definitely couldn't do that anymore. I can pop lock still, you know, and I can still pop lock, but I can't do centipedes, and I definitely can't be spinning on the floor anymore. Well, wealth, I guess you're right about that. Not anymore, Andrew. I used to be able to walk handstand, but now, not at this point. Now, my cousin, he's about a year or two older. He can still do backflips pretty good. Always athletic. Some people remain athletic. There's 50 and 60-year-olds can still do backflips. I was just never coordinated enough. Cigar is going out for some odd reason. It's kind of odd. Yeah, I don't think Scatman was around on Tuesday neither. There was a TV show on Cartoon Network called The Problem Solvers. I've never heard of that TV series. It must have been after 1995. That's when I didn't watch too much Cartoon Network anymore. I watched the early days of Cartoon Network. The only other thing I watched was Toonami. I watched Toonami up to the point to where I got rid of Sling. But everything else on Cartoon Network I never watched. I mean, I watched, at that time in the 90s, there was Space Ghost, Coast to Coast, The Brack Show. They still had Eek the Cat. And then they had Ren and Stimpy. And then, of course, old Johnny Bravo, which another John Bravo gets his impersonations from. Great shows back in the day. Hey, Danny, what's up? Glad you made it here. We got 45 minutes left. Get your questions in. If you want to put some money in the collection plate for the swordfish, you can do that too. Oh yeah, Toonami was good for Dragon Ball Z. The first time I watched Dragon Ball Z was actually around it was in the late 80s actually. And you had to get up at 6 a.m. in the morning to watch Dragon Ball, actually. So I got up at 6 a.m. to watch Dragon Ball because Dragon Ball came on and then Sailor Moon and then the rest of the shows came on. And yes, I did watch Sailor Moon, folks. Now, I watched the Sailor Moon, but then I watched the real Sailor Moon. And when I say the real one, I'm talking about the uncensored version of Sailor Moon. It's a whole lot different. Believe me. The uncensored Sailor Moon is a whole lot more darker. Yeah, I remember Rocco. I like that show too, and Cow and Chicken. Makes me laugh thinking about Cow and Chicken. Favorite horror villain? That's easy. Freddy Krueger. I mean, he would kill people and then tell jokes. I mean, Jason, all he did was stand in the hockey match like, he never said anything. Freddy, he would just joke with people. Better not dream and drive! I did watch Powerpuff Girls. They had that weird devil character. I don't know what that was. I know it would be someone Ron DeSantis would absolutely hate. Yeah, I remember Regular Show too. I never watched that. I mean, I watched little snippets of it, and that was about it. I Am Weasel. Yep. Did watch I Am Weasel. That was a good show. I never saw Cocktail with Tom Cruise. I've not watched too many Tom Cruise movies. In all honesty, Mission Impossible, obviously Top Gun. Then there was a movie he made in the early 80s. I can't remember it. Oh yeah, Risky Business. I watched that. Red wine, good antioxidants there, Danny. No, I definitely don't watch that crap, Andrew. Don't watch hentai. Some of that stuff borders on pedophilia, actually, Andrew. And then I could never get a hold of the tentacle sex. That was just ugh. Or orc porn. I can imagine the look on Jasmine's face when she saw all that stuff Richard's watching. That stuff's also messing up his mind too. No, I definitely didn't watch SpongeBob SquarePants. And I don't know why Nickelodeon had SpongeBob SquarePants come out of the closet. A sponge cannot be gay, you know. He can't be a homosexual. A sponge is asexual, you know. It has no sex. Now, I kid you not, folks. A sponge is asexual. It has no gender. It's genderless. If you're gonna call SpongeBob anything, it would be non-binary. But it's a cartoon, you know. The same with Ernie and Bert. Now, I did a video. There's still a YouTube video that I have that Ernie and Bert aren't gay. I have a censored and uncensored version. I had to take down the uncensored version. I mean, Ernie and Bert are puppets. They have nothing down there, you know. In order for Bert to be slamming it into Ernie's ass, there would have to be a penis and stuff, you know. And Ernie would have to have an ass. They're puppets. They can't do anything. Oh, yeah, I definitely watched Saved by the Bell and the original Good Morning, Miss Bliss. Everybody watched Saved by the Bell. Every kid back then watched Saved by the Bell. You want to know what made the show? It wasn't Zach Morris exactly. It was his phone. That was the first time I saw a cell phone. He would walk around with that big cell phone and be talking on it, you know. And then he would snap his fingers and says time out and the whole scene freezes. But yeah, I remember that big old cell phone he was walking around with. There were two people in the 80s that walked around with a cell phone. That was, well, now he calls himself Paul Heyman, or at the time he was Paul E. Dangerously. And he would be walking around with that cell phone with the Samoan SWAT team, Afa and Sika. And stuff. What he watches just finishes the job. I don't know what he does here. Absolutely not, Psycho. Will should have never assaulted him, and now he's banned from that event for I think like 5 years. Saved by the Bell used to come on in my day only on Saturdays. It came on later in the day, like around 11 o'clock or so, because they ran all the cartoons up and then they did the live shows. And then at 12 o'clock, you either watched NWA wrestling or you watched WWF. And my brother liked WWF, and I watched NWA, so and stuff. So we just switched back and forth between WWF and, you know, whenever NWA went on commercial, we would switch it over to WWF. Oh, yeah, I had a car phone. That's when phones was cool. I had a nice car phone, and first time I had a car phone, it was in my 1986 Honda Prelude. I had my car phone installed in there. What year did I get my first cell phone? 1998, actually. And that was technically it was a carry-on phone, but it was a big, thick one. Very thick. It was a very heavy phone. Or it could have been 1997. And when I worked at Montgomery Ward, and we made deliveries, I used a bag phone. But in the 90s, you know, I only had a phone card because cell phones were very expensive back then. And I mean, my phone service was like, my first cell phone, I got 100 minutes for what was it, like $40 a month or so. No, and you had to definitely watch out for roaming charges. Those things that eat you up. They used to make every character gay, black, Asian. Well, it's just a sign of the times, Book of Dark. I don't read too much into it. Yeah, she was good looking. If your dad had a car phone in 1984, then he was one awesome dad there, Justin. He was a big timer. He was a baller. God, I don't remember my pager number. Now, I had a pager a lot earlier. I had a pager in like 96 or so. That's why I never got a phone until then, because I had a pager. Pagers was cheap. I only paid $10 a month for a pager. My first phone service was through Bell Atlantic Mobile, which eventually became Verizon. And then my next service was Alltel, because I went to work for Alltel. But here's the thing. I only had a cell phone sporadically in the early 2000s until I got a company issued phone. From then, I always had a cell phone. But I had a cell phone and I had a car phone in 96, and I kept it for a while, and then I went 2 years without one. But after working at Alltel, I always had a cell phone from then. Amazing World of Gumball. I heard of that show. They say it's pretty funny. I was horrible at roller skating, Justin. I definitely never did the rollerblading. Well, that's not exactly true, Quick Pump, at least for the pagers. I mean, doctors usually had pagers, but, I had a pager so I can keep up whenever my mom or someone else called, especially when I wasn't at home. I get a page and then I'd run to the nearest phone booth, which phone booths were kind of common. Yeah, Quick Pump, I mean, things got cheaper. The reason why people got reason why there was a big expansion is because they got to the point it was cheaper than having a home phone. Yeah, there isn't really one, Justin. I've not seen a phone booth in decades. I had a boyfriend one time named Snapper. I really liked him. His birthday was 3 days after mine. He's now married he's actually in California now. Him and his, I think his husband had 2 kids, and they pretty much, I miss him sometimes. Snapper was an awesome guy. I honestly would have married him. I need to actually call him and see, or Facebook him and see how he's doing. Well, no, Book of Dark. Now drug dealers are mainly using cryptocurrency and Bitcoin as opposed to cash. Street dealers are coming to an end, my friend. Now everything is Cash App, and then you go out and you hand them their drugs. Except a regular old homeless crackhead. Crackhead will always give you cash. Oh, I know what you meant, psycho. Hold on a minute, I gotta take a pee. Be right back. Oh boy. No, that's what his parents named him, Andrew. Snapper. Well, if you're playing and doing live, Lamar, remember, make sure you label your games as far as to what you're playing. You'll get more subscribers. I think you're on track to get a good gaming channel, and that'll act. And once you get monetized, Lamar, that's going to pay more. That's going to pay more per 1,000 views than what I'm actually getting. Once your channel gets monetized, you'll make more money than I do. That's the whole thing about mints, folks. Because of the content that I actually do, as well as Richard and everyone else, we usually only get $1.86 for every 1,000 views. So our dependency mainly is on donations, actually. If I was intent on making money, for this YouTube channel, it would be on donations. Now, my new channel, which is now the Home Business King, that's going to make about $10 for every 1,000 views, because then I'll be into making videos about finance. So your monetization on YouTube is dependent upon what type of content you're actually doing. When you're doing comedy work and put downs and stuff like that, YouTube pays very little for that. Well, Book of Dark, they probably got canceled. They may come back to it, if possible. This cigar is all finished, folks. So remember, folks, twist, not jab. Here's what happens when you jab something. When you do something like that, smoke gets all over the place. Real bad. Never chatted with Mr. Beast before. Well, I've done some collabs there, Truth One, so never say never. I have to get my internet right first, which I won't have to worry about very much longer. Thank goodness. And then once I get my other 5 videos up on the finance channel, I'll just put my boys to work and get that channel monetized in probably about 3 weeks or so. that's something I have to pay in order to get done. I'm not going to do the same as I did with this channel because it took me, I just built it up real slow. It took 2 years before this channel got monetized. Because I just did it as a hobby. I heard that one woman that made 3. Yeah, sex work. Some of them there, they get on OnlyFans. They make a lot of money. How many reps and sets? I'm not sure what exercises you're talking about particularly. But you do it until you get tired, and then you hit 3 more, Psycho. That's the way I do workouts. Once I've gotten everything out, I push the last 3 workouts. Either that or I'll do a drop set to really burn out the muscles. The biggest thing about muscle is consistency. If you stay consistent, over time, you're going to build more muscle. If you try to do all these shit lifts and stuff and you get injured, you start back pretty much at square one. And also make sure your muscles don't really grow until you go to sleep and you get the right food in. Your recovery is the most important part of working out. Because that's where the muscle is actually built whenever your body recovers. Those muscles, when you work out, you break down those muscle fibers. And then when the body repairs those muscle fibers, that's when you build muscle. Well, that's what the new channel is going to do, Nazio. I'm going to do training videos. I'm going to do seminars and stuff. It's going to be a serious channel. No mints on that one. But you can now visit the Home Business King. Let me put that down. But that's the new one, Home Business King. It's a clone of the MLM All-Stars, but that's what I've also changed the channel name as well. It's better for marketing. The MLM All-Stars is a more valuable domain. It's one I won at auction. But people can't get over the MLM, so I'll turn that into probably a one-page just selling one product and that's it. Either that or I'll just sell it. There won't be no mention of vegan booty, vegan gains, or anyone. It's just going to be a straight up financial channel. And that's it. I'll be discussing Chat GPT, AIs, building websites, and other home business stuff. Vegan Gains, he'll never be canceled. He'll always be around in some capacity. Even if he lost his YouTube channel, he'll always be around. A lot of people consider me as a role model. I just keep it real and tell it to you like it is there, Psycho. That's all I can really do. I do seem to give a lot of advice, but that's just the nature of things. I just want to help people out, you know. That's what I also like doing about my live streams, other than talking about my days working at a detention center, bodybuilding, you know. It's always I guess you can consider this also an advice column live stream. Andrew, if I ever met George Washington, I would have been a slave, actually. George Washington thought of black people as monkeys, so there wouldn't be anything close to dating him. I would have been working out on his fields. George Washington owned a bunch of slaves. He owned at least 500 slaves at one point. And when he died, he passed the slaves on to Martha Washington. But he left. George Washington did do one good thing in his will. He said that once his wife passed away, that all of his slaves would be set free. So after his wife, Martha Washington, died, all the slaves were pretty much set free as part of his will. One thing about George Washington is he pretty much had a good prediction about the future. He already knew that slavery would not be viable in the next 100 or so years or so. He knew that eventually slavery would come to an end, and it took only maybe like 64 years. At 6 pieces. Well, I hope that was good, as long as you didn't get it from McDonald's, sir. No, I wouldn't have slept with Martha Washington. They would have hung me from a tree sleeping with a white woman. Or either that, they would have just shot me straight up. That's why they're trying to take down That's why they've taken down George Washington statues. Some of these progressive college institutions, they're taking down statues of George Washington. They actually want his face off Mount Rushmore. And for some odd reason, they're wanting to take down Abraham Lincoln and Ben Franklin's statues as well. It's a really screwed up country at this point in time, you know. And they recently renamed Fort Bragg to a different name. What did they call Fort Bragg now? Let me look that up. They renamed it for something. Fort Bragg is now Fort Liberty, actually. And it will become Fort Liberty on June the 2nd, actually. But that was pretty much expected to happen because Bragg was part of the Confederacy. I don't eat Chinese food or anything anymore. I eat Japanese food. I think it's got a lot of MSG in it, but this Japanese food generally doesn't. But whenever I eat that, I usually am having sushi. My friends at work got into trouble for looking at... You can't accidentally look at porn, Book of Dark. Of course, nowadays, offices have blockers to where you can't go on a work computer and actually see pornography. So I'm very interested as far as to how that happened. Yeah, they're trying to take down the Washington statues. The Fort Bragg name change, I expected that to happen. But the George Washington statues, okay, he owned slaves, but he was also the first president of the United States. He's the one that freed the British from us, you know. My whole opinion about that situation, it was the times, you know. Slavery was acceptable not just in the United States, but also in Africa as well. Africa actually had more slaves at the time, and slavery was still an institution. I mean, there's there are some parts of Africa where they still have slavery, you know, literally. I kid you not. The only country that got rid of slavery before the United States was Britain. But you have to remember, at that time it was the British Empire, so they pretty much controlled a number of countries anyway, so it didn't really matter. They controlled India and stuff. So, I mean, it's a double-edged sword, I suppose. No, sushi, as long as you get good sushi from a proper establishment, from a real sushi chef, one that's trained for 10 years, you don't have to worry about tapeworms. But you can usually tell which establishments are hygienic and which ones aren't. They had a Japanese restaurant in Silva, and it was in a real ratty part of town. And I had food from them one time, and I got real sick. It wasn't sushi, it was something that was cooked. I mean, that place closed down pretty quickly. I mean, I think the guy just wasn't interested in it because he wasn't making any money. Oh, yeah, there's always going to be a documentary on there. I think they showed something on Vice as well at one time, whenever there was the Vice channel. All right, folks, we got 13 minutes left, so get your questions in and your comments. You want to put some money in the collection plate, you can certainly do that as well. But I'm not going to do any more work today other than upload the inventories for the websites. Tomorrow I'm going to head out early. I'm going to go downtown and probably walk around before I hit the gym. Because I'm going to be honest with you, I've had a very exhausting week. Just so many issues with the grocery site. And I'm actually setting up another one with a different vendor that's going to sell bulk grocery supplies. It's going to be the same as what I ran originally. The grocery store I have right now online is a lot harder because it doesn't sell in bulk. I mean, it sells individual stuff. No, we're not going to do 13 hours. It's my workout for tomorrow, legs. We're doing legs tomorrow, Psycho. We are doing legs. Saturday's leg day. That's why I'm going to go walk around and then I'm going to go do legs. Going downtown in Greenville is nice and peaceful, actually. The ducks are out, you know, it's quiet out in Cleveland Park. And I've not done that in quite some time neither, so I'm looking forward to it. I don't have a pre-workout meal. The only thing I will take if I don't have much energy, I will take one of those energy shots I get from Aldi. The energy shots from Aldi are only $1 a piece, and I'll take that. It's just all B12. My thoughts on Ukraine is, you know, I think we're writing blank checks to the Ukraine. I just need we've already given about over $500 million to the Ukraine in supplies and money. But I think that war is going to go on for a very long time, for years. You know, we always want to be in a position to help people, but we can't be writing blank checks, James. Because remember, that's American money there. You know, that's our tax dollars. Ours, you know. Well, when I use protein powder, I got mine from Dog Crap or True Protein. And I would have a mix of it. But I get a customized protein. Most of it is castane and hemp protein when I get it from True Protein there, Psycho. Yeah, it is insane. $500 million that we've given to the Ukraine. Let me put that to you in perspective. And I want you to think about this. And this is also the reason that whole controversy is going around as far as to every black person getting $3 million. So here's the thing. I'm glad you brought that up, Andrew. You see, the total amount of wealth that blacks have in this country is about $1 trillion, which may sound like a lot of money. However, the wealth in this country in total is about $150 trillion. That means we have less than 1% of the wealth. The reason being is you have things like Jim Crow, land being taken, lack of GI Bills, and all sorts of stuff that's happened over the course since the end of slavery. And people are wanting to catch up to where $12 trillion would put us in line with the amount of wealth that we should have. Now, in my opinion itself there, I prefer being my own man. I earn my own money, you know. And I get what I get in life from the work that I actually do. Because we're at a point in time to where there should be no boundaries, no limits as far as to what someone can make, whether they're black, white, or candy striped, you know. But that's where all that comes from is there is, I will have to admit, there is a disparity as far as the wealth of a particular, you know, and stuff. But that's the thing about life, folks. You got to accept things where it is. I grew up in the projects, you know. Didn't grow up with a silver spoon in my mouth, but you have to, in life, you have to make the best of whatever situation you actually have, you know. And remember, folks, we're still in America. So despite the lack of wealth and the disparity, we are still one of the most wealthiest countries. There are places out there where they don't even have TVs, refrigerators, or cell phones. They don't have sets of clothes and stuff like that. So you just have to be thankful for what you have. Because when you get into the mindset that you should have more than what you deserve, then that's when you get in trouble. Yeah, Dog Crap. I still call him Dog Crap, Andrew. That's his nickname. The owner of True Protein. I call him Dog Crap still. I've always called him Dog Crap. Other people call him Dog Crap, you know. Or you can call him Dante. If you didn't grow up around when he was growing up, you would call him Dante. In my day, we called him Dog Crap, and I still keep to that because, you know, stuff. My career is obsessed with conspiracy theories, and there's no conspiracy theory from the Oklahoma City bombing. You know, it's probably one of the first cases of domestic terrorism. Yeah, that's the thing. Just because we're owed something technically doesn't mean that we should be in a position to collect something. whether it's collected or not, it's important that, my people do what they can with what they have. And we have plenty. That's a problem with this country. Everybody always wants more stuff, more this, more that, instead of being thankful for what they actually have, because things can be a lot worse. If I was born in Africa, I wouldn't have a TV, wouldn't have a live stream, wouldn't have computers, wouldn't have clothes, would not have exercise. I wouldn't have a car, wouldn't be able to go to the swordfish club and stuff. So, we're still in the most wealthiest country, the best country in the world. I wouldn't take it for anything else, regardless because guess what? If I lived in Africa, I would definitely not have a problem with race, but then I would have to take all the other problems along with it. No problem, Zach. You're good. I'm exhausted from this week. I did a rebranding today. Issues with the grocery store. Still selling the sites. They're coming to an end, so I have a lot of bids and questions coming in. Yes, he was a legend there. So we also did a moment of silence for both Jim Brown and superstar Billy Graham. But other than that, I'm always going to be doing okay. Just tired, But the weekends here, things are solved and everything, so I'm just going to relax. The reason why parents always pressure people to stay in their jobs is, it's a sign of the times. I don't think parents are doing it as much. My mom always encouraged me to stay at my job, because it's all about bill paying. Australia, okay, you got to contend with vegan booty, so. That's the whole thing, Even our $1 trillion is way more than the total wealth of Africa, the whole continent, My investments in stock is very minimum, Pat Man. My investments is mainly in websites and web development, being a creator. I'm a mediocre to average stock person. I've not invested in any real estate other than some land, and that's about it. I prefer investing in websites and businesses and reselling them or using it to create income. As far as a national debt is concerned, that's just an imaginary number, Book of Dark. The reason being is it's just a matter of, I want you to think about this for a minute. At the end of every month, we got to pay rent, right? And we have to pay rent the next month and the next month, and we have to pay the phone bill. The U.S. national debt is just what we got to pay each month. We pay off the national debt every single month, and then it starts over. So it's an imaginary number, and it goes up because of inflation. But with the national debt, our country's wealth increases as well, so... No, I don't think there's an agenda. You have to remember George Washington wore makeup and he wore perfume, and he also wore a wig as well. Literally speaking, technically you can call George Washington a drag queen. And they also used to dress frimpy and stuff and ruffles and everything like that. Just look at pictures from the 1700s and 1800s. They dressed very femininely in the 1700s and other things. So I think it's just a trend of things, Zach. Wouldn't read anything into it. one thing that our country is doing, in my opinion, is making people more subservient to the government, and make them more dependent upon the government. Now that, I think that's an agenda. But masculinity, no. You're always going to have people that are masculine. You're always going to have people that's feminine. I don't think it's changed. Like I said, you can go back through time and history, and that validates what I actually say. Because look at the Romans, I mean, they used to dress feminine too there, so, yeah. Yeah, the debt ceiling essentially is us paying the bills, Zach, instead of delaying our bills. So in 2 weeks, we have to pay the bills for our vets and all other government services. If we don't, then we owe money and then the interest piles up. Squeaks, you're getting in kind of late, actually. I mean, because the show, it's now midnight, so I'll keep it running for another 5 minutes here. So if you have a question to ask me, you better ask it now.